It's about getting into schools and talking to young people because, you know, I know that people can change. And it's about talking to people and getting them to understand and perhaps step back from violence and prejudice and whatever. And we just need to work together and keep on the good fight there.
Absolutely. Hey there, guys. We are ecstatically happy to announce that we are associated with the Sophie Lancaster Foundation.
The times are changing, and with the unfortunate death of Sophie, those changes have made a massive impact for the future. If Sophie was with us still today, I can guarantee what you are doing will still be reaching so many lives of young teenagers, young adults, and those who wish to be as different as possible. So thank you very much.
To find out more about this incredible foundation and all the work they do, and more importantly, how you can help, head on over to www.sophielancasterfoundation.com.
Hi, my name is Leah Shutkever. I'm Europe's #1 female competitive eater. Tune in to listen to the Chronicles of Podcast with Jamie and Tom.
You put your left hand up, you put your right hand up. It's time for the Chronicles of Podcast. And we're back again. Wave them. Throw them from side to side. A nice little rhythmic motion from side to side. Welcome to the 30th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast. Jamie.
Yes.
If I'm really right in thinking, it's is it the Chronicles of Leah Shutkever?
You're damn right it is.
Oh, lovely. Double wave, everyone. Double wave. Keep double waving. That's what we have to see. Welcome. Shall we?
Oh, go on.
Hit it. Shouldn't we?
We definitely should.
Absolutely. So, I am very excited to introduce you to the piece of resistance this week, Jamie.
Yes, we are.
And everybody else, welcome to the Chronicles of Leah Shutkever. Leah is a competitive professional eater. She is Europe's #1 female competitive eater. I have never seen anything quite like it in my life, Jamie. I'm not going to lie to you, especially with the kiwi on her Instagram story. In about 2 seconds. Fucking sane.
This is probably the most amount of research I've done for a guest. Not because I wanted to be in-depth with questions, but because I kept being like, hold on, she did what now? She did what now? She did fucking what now? Just constantly watching stuff.
Before you listen to this interview and you're not familiar with Leah, please go and check out Shutkever on YouTube. I believe that's her handle on there. Put Shutkever and you'll find it anyway. She's the only one in the world. And watch the steak video.
Yeah.
The 96 ounce. Just watch her videos. Just watch anything on there because they're mind blowing.
They really are.
Because I look at it, I thought I could eat, right? Because I always have seconds of because every time the other half's mum cooks, I'm always like, fuck me, it's delicious. Or every time the other half cooks, fucking delicious. I want more every time. Because she's always like, save it for work next day. I'm like, save it. I'm going to absolutely demolish this. It's funny because she also tells me that I look like every time I eat that I've never eaten before in my life. Literally love it. I'm quiet as fuck as well. I don't say a word. And I'm always really thankful afterwards, like I've never eaten before. But it's weird. I'm a weird human.
Tom turns into Oliver.
But the way she devours KFC, McDonald's, burgers, wings, fish and chips, Jaffa cakes, steaks, is just insane.
The one that sticks out to me the most because it's just really cool, is the fact that she got cereal, made a bowl out of the cereal, put an entire box of cereal into the bowl, ate all of the cereal, and then ate the bowl. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Insane. The Reese's Pieces one is like one of my favorite videos. Like I could do that. I think not as fast as that, but I could do it. I think.
I really want to see you and her in an enchilada challenge.
Oh, I'll get my ass kicked, but that's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout at all, boys. But Leah is just a wonderful human being. And I literally can't wait for you all to hear this. I'm so excited to release this interview, Jamie. It's insane.
No. What I love about this interview as well is not just all the amazing, awesome things she's achieved. You know, she was just a lovely person to talk to. The fact that she was so open and honest about the struggles she's had in her past with her self-image. And, you know, she really opened herself to stuff that most people feel vulnerable and don't like talking about. The fact she's so open and honest about it, I absolutely loved it. I really appreciate her openness. And yeah, you're going to enjoy this one, people. This is great.
Absolutely. She's broken over 20 Guinness World Records for food. Jamie, any final words?
No, just the same thing I say every week. Leah, thank you so much for doing this. It's an absolute honour to talk to you. And hopefully one day we can actually see you do this in person, because you live in Birmingham, for Christ's sake. There's no reason we can't make it work.
Absolutely, Leah. Thank you so much for taking the time out to chat to us. We are very excited to release this. We are very excited and so happy that you came to be a part of us in your very busy schedule. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, interviewing this week, she is the #1 female for competitive eating in Europe. She has smashed over 20 Guinness World Records. It's Leah Shutkever. How are we doing, Miss Shutkever? How are we?
You said it correctly. I'm so impressed. Bear with me 1 second. Let me turn this down a bit.
Yeah, no worries.
Where are you two from?
Living in Cardiff, Wales.
And I'm from Birmingham.
Spot on.
So should I spell out now and leave you guys to... We all
no. Yeah, you can join the clan, join the
I have to try. I might let you down though. Sorry though.
You're not through and through Welsh though, are you?
No, God no. I mean, no, not at all.
No, because I can't hear like a strong accent from you.
No, I've only been here a year. I'm actually Scottish, Leah. Would you believe that?
No.
No. No, I generally am from Scotland, but okay. I lived in England way too long. So unfortunately, I picked up their accent and then came to Wales. So
the jocks won't have you back now, will they?
No.
They don't want you.
No. I generally got called a fake Scotsman a couple of weeks ago. And it actually hurt my feet. Yeah. She was from Glasgow. She was like, hey, you're not a Scotsman. No. She goes, you're a fake one because you got that shitty accent. I'm like, okay, sorry, I'm turning.
No, that's not okay.
No, I was at work. So I was like, yes, madam, of course, absolutely. The customer is always correct. Yes, absolutely, yes.
Correct. I'm not a Scottish man. I'll deny my own identity.
Yeah, you're totally right. But inside, like, yes, we will see each other again soon. Don't you worry.
We will meet again.
Yeah. But going back to the whole thing about your surname, it would have thought that somebody would watch your YouTube all day. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like doing all the research and whatnot. Actually, want to have a nice, decent conversation with her. Oh, Shutkever, because I imagine you've had that before.
I've had them all.
Have you?
Everything. Yeah. Which is absolutely fine. I don't expect anybody to know how to pronounce it, but when people do, it's just very flattering. It's like somebody really paid attention to that, and you know,
what can we say? We like to be thorough, you see.
We do.
I can see that. No, I'm very impressed. I am very impressed.
Well, we really appreciate you doing this for us. We're quite excited. I'm not gonna lie.
Good. Me too.
Oh, stop it. Anyway, I should let Jamie actually talk for once.
I was going to say, no, I was doing the research for doing this earlier, and I was getting so excited the more I was reading. I was like, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I like fun. Fun is good.
So basically, how we get started is Jamie will do a nice little introduction, lure you into that false sense of security, Leah. We bring you in, and then we absolutely hammer you with questions.
Okay, good. That's what I'm good at. So go for it.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Well,
that's what
on to a winner.
Let's do this intro then.
Okay, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a guest we bring you today. Today's guest is someone who could say they are so hungry they could eat a horse and probably actually do it. Today's guest is a competitive eater who has smashed several Guinness World Records, competed in eating challenges all over the world and against people like the world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. But the best thing about her is, like myself, she's from Birmingham. Welcome to the Chronicles of Leah Shutkever.
Hello, thank you so much for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. It's yeah, we've never had anybody of your talents before, Leah, so this should be quite an interesting conversation. But of course, we must hit the hard-hitting questions first, which was, how was your pandemic season?
Pretty fruitful, to be honest. I broke 15 or 16 Guinness World Record titles. So I pretty much took, I focused all of this sort of time and energy into just all of the stuff that goes into doing world records, which is an awful lot, which I normally don't have time for. So I spent it well, let's say.
Oh, good. It's like locked away, you say. Brilliant. Let's bring it on. How many times can I smash in 2 years? Well, I don't know how long it was going to be for at the time, obviously, but you're like, well, I'll just keep smashing them out. But with Guinness World Records then, like, does it actually take quite a lot of preparation time? Do you have to get in contact with them, that sort of thing? And they have to be present at the time as well?
More preparation than you can even imagine.
Really?
So the whole process, I'm going to run you through it as quickly as I can. If you go onto the website, you can search for world record titles. It comes up with keywords. So if you search a keyword, fastest time to eat, most items eaten, it will come up with all of the related titles. You then find the title that you want to break. You have to apply for it. They then have to accept your application form. You go through this entire process with them. They send you guidelines. You follow the guidelines. And for every record, you need multiple angles for filming, continuous photographs taken the entire way through. You need a witness, a timekeeper, in fact, 2 witnesses, a timekeeper, and somebody to be like the referee or like the adjudicator.
Okay.
And you have to submit all of your evidence, continuous footage and everything, alongside witness statements, timekeeper statements, a cover letter, which comes from the attemptee. And then you have to wait up to 12 weeks to get an answer, whether you were successful or not. And I have been both successful and unsuccessful in attempts. I've been disqualified for the smallest things, like a tiny bit of cucumber on the end of my tongue.
No!
Yeah. It's absolutely gut-wrenching, but yes, it has happened.
That's ridiculous.
I know. I really thought they liked me until that came back.
I'm giving you so much content for your next book. What are you doing?
They're probably, it gets to the point where it's like, oh, it's her again. What's she eating now? Oh, she's eating that this time. Right, okay.
It's so funny. I met, I can't tell you how and where, but I met the girl who processes my application forms. And she was like, I'm so pleased to meet you. Like, I'm the person that receives your application forms. I'm like, I'm so sorry. You see my name and think, oh God, not this girl again. Can you just be satisfied with a number of world records without wanting more? Why are you so greedy? Stop it.
Surely, right? There must be a record for holding the most world records, right?
Controversial. So this was a record. It's still held by the same person. They're called Ashrita Furman. They're from the States and they hold over 600 Guinness World Record titles.
What?
They've been breaking records since 1967 and in everything, eating, like assaults, like popping balloons with the mouth, things like that. Yeah. So I think I'm all high and mighty until they come through and I'm like, oh, okay. Humble myself then. Okay, I will.
That's nuts. That's insane how one person could do so. But then again, it's obviously, like you said, it's eating a balloon. Like, there's nothing to that. No one does that in everyday life.
Yeah, I think that it's about practicing and knowing what you need to do. I think a lot of the fear of people actually attempting world records is that it's a new thing, it's a different realm and dimension, and I don't think that many people think that it's even possible, but until you do it, you just don't know. So yeah.
Well, all I can say, I tip my hat to you for smashing so many during the lockdown.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was very to my convenience. It definitely, I can only say good things about that whole experience, because like pre world record titles, I really was just a nobody. I was struggling to kind of affirm who I was in the competitive eating circuit, and I found it difficult to prove that I was real and that what I did was real. And it's so bizarre to me, because I've got better things to do than to pretend I can eat really fast on the internet. And I don't think people give me enough credit. Like, I did have an actual career, and this is just kind of taken over. So yeah, it's been interesting, but the world records is kind of, it's just put me into a different realm, different circuit.
But before the world records, Leah, you were definitely a somebody. Everyone's a someone. No one's a nothing.
No, no, not online. Definitely not notable. I was very shy, very reserved. Yeah, no, I
just watched you smash a 96-ounce fucking steak. Yeah. That's in 12 minutes. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite videos ever. It performed so well, and it kind of gave me so much life. Sometimes you just, on the off chance, have such a good day, everything lines up, you do such a good performance, and the video performs well, and it's like, everything just kind of aligned really perfectly. That was my moment, and I've never been able to sort of recreate that since. And it's a shame. But
I was fully expected to pick it up and go, cheers then.
It's a satisfaction. It's like, this makes the meat sweats worth it.
It's so funny, I don't get meat sweats, but yeah, I hear a lot about them. I don't know whether it's like a myth or what, but yeah, it's not something that I've experienced.
Damn.
Yeah.
So take us back to young Miss Shutkever. What did you want to be when you grow up? Because I can't see like a young 5-year-old saying, I want to be a competitive eater.
Oh no, definitely not. That was not me at all. When I was young, so I'm, for your viewers, I'm 31 years old. So I grew up pre-social media, internet stuff. I had a mum who was an ex-chef and a dad who's a farmer. And they started their own business and started working together. But with their backgrounds at home, it was all about food. My mum's Latin American, so I was very much a foodie and very much an overweight child. And do you know what I mean? Like, we've grown up. We've developed personalities, and everything is great in the world. School was tough for me. I was academic because I really applied myself in everything that I did. I wanted to be an archaeologist, and then I wanted to be a policewoman. And then I remember the connections meetings at school, like, what do you want to do? And everything that I went for, they told me I was overqualified to do. Like, I chose teaching roles, and they were like, no. Okay. Well, I didn't like the list that I was given. There was nothing interesting on there. And then sort of I did really well through college, and it was kind of deciding what I was going to do out of college. I studied business. And kind of alongside that, I kind of started to get into fitness and learning about nutrition and things like that. And I had a meeting with a setup meeting by my aunt, who worked with a lot of quantity surveyors. And for those people that may not know what they do, they basically put a price on building projects. So I was like, this is cool. They want more women in the industry. I can be in the kind of construction. Like, I'm into buildings. I love buildings, and I love demolition more than I like the actual building of the building. But I was really into that. So I thought, I'll go meet with these women and see. It's a well-paid job. Let's see what they think of it. They sold it to me. I thought, right, I'll do this. So they bugged us all at university, building surveyors, architects, quantity surveyors, all together. And I liked the module where we did architecture the best. And my tutor was like, I think that you should transfer and do architecture as a full course. And then I decided that I wanted to be an architect. So I went to university and I studied architecture, and I graduated in 2014. And I worked for an architect's office. I was a part one architect, and very much not on social media still. It was kind of just the start of Instagram at this point. Showing my age, really am now. And then I was contacted by an interior design company, and they offered me a job, and it seemed great. So I went and did that, and I worked there for 3.5, almost 4 years. And then the world of competitive eating came and swallowed me whole.
Hey.
And here we are.
So what exactly made you want to go into the competitive eating world? What made you realise, do you know what, I can smash that in 5 minutes?
Nothing like that. I feel like a lot of people have this conception that I pursued this, but I definitely didn't. I was very, very shy. There was no way that I would film myself, that I could talk like on camera, that I was confident. I have like identity issues.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it, but it goes quite deep. I've got issues with my identity. I've got issues with like the way that I looked. I was like deeply insecure at that time as well. So social media was definitely not on my radar.
Yeah.
I was at work one day in the interior design office, and I get a phone call. Now, in 2013, right, let's backtrack. 2013, I'm dieting for a bikini show. My older brother is going to this local restaurant every single week and attempting this food challenge. Every single week for 10 weeks consecutively, he fails this challenge. Comes home, he's like, oh, I went with the rugby lads. I failed again. I was like, you are an embarrassment. You're letting the family down. This is not okay. If you fail again, don't bother coming home. And he was like, you know what, you think you're so good, you come and show me how it's done. So I said, look, I'm dieting for the show. Let me do the show, and then I'll go there and I'll do like my post-show meal there. I did the show, went to the restaurant. They recognized me because we were bantering each other back and forth on their Facebook page. And they said, are you going to do the challenge? And I said, yeah, go on, let's do it. I did it. I set the record. I blew my own like self away, including the manager, the waitress, everyone. They were all like, you have to come back and do another one. Right. So I was not on social media, but I was just doing challenges for fun on like a very casual basis, just to sort of refeed me from training because I lift weights. So refeeds are just kind of good to kind of make your body feel like it's reset, gives you more energy and more strength, etc. So thinking back now, it's just so crazy, this whole story. So one day, 2 years later, I'm in my office and I get a phone call, goes to my boss, and they basically are recruiting for the Team UK, who are going to compete at the World Championship eating competition called Battle of the Big Eaters. Now, they said to me, we know that you don't have social media and we can't find you anywhere, but we've heard through the grapevine that you're the girl that does the food challenges and you've got some pretty impressive records. And I was like, well, yeah, you heard correctly. And I don't know how you found me, but of course, they found me through my professional profile. I'm the only Leah Shutkever in the world. So if you try to look for me, like, you could find me. So we had a little chat. They asked me about my records and they said, look, will you come to London and do the qualifier? So I went to London, did the qualifier just for fun, not expecting anything. I went up against 12 people, 10, 12 people, and I won the qualifier. I was like, oh my gosh, this was for Japanese TV too. Like, this was like the most bizarre experience. We were eating Scotch eggs, cold Scotch eggs, on the Thames, on the top deck of a boat, mid-October, freezing cold.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it really was awful, but I won. And I just was, again, I didn't expect it. It was pretty incredible. And then they flew us out to New York like the following week. We competed at the World Championships, and we did that again in 2017. Then 2018-ish, I started my YouTube channel. And then I was still very shy, but I knew that I could do this thing. and I knew that I was good at it. And the Americans told me, you need to do this. People need to see it. They'll love your channel. And then, yeah, I had a lot of self problems to deal with, and I became better at what I did. And then things kind of escalated from there.
Do you think that taking that plunge and doing the channel helped you with your self-confidence issues?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that I don't know where it came from, because I've never been like a fanciable person, but I've always felt like nobody really has, this is so weird. I always felt like nobody really has seen me how I actually am, because I always felt like the grey man. I don't know if you understand that sort of term. Like very unseen.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know what my perception was from other people's eyes. All I knew that when I look at myself, I don't think that I look good or I sound good. And I was bullied at school, so I had a lot of those kinds of insecurities. But then as soon as you put yourself on a bigger scale, actually, when like it's on a bigger scale, the grand scheme is you're actually not that bad, and you're actually not that terrible, and you're actually all right at eating, and I can actually watch you eat. So your channel makes sense, and then you start to get support for being who you are and not what you look like, and then that kind of all plays into the confidence thing. So yeah, I think as a woman it's very difficult as well to put yourself out there eating food, because it's very different. Yeah.
Yes. I like that. That's good though. That's amazing. You know, you took that plunge, you put yourself out there, and it helped. It paid out. It helped you face some demons. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I owe a lot, I think, to just taking that competitive eating plunge. My life has completely changed, and for the better.
So what do your friends and family think about you doing this?
You know what? I think they're really strangely proud. I've always been like quite a high achiever in everything that I've ever done, and I think that if I was, so my parents went through this phase where they're like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because this is not real work. Like you can't live your life doing this," because they don't understand social media at all. And then it slowly, TV appearances, radio things, your name gets mentioned and people get excited. And now my parents are like my biggest PR people. They are telling people about me all the time. Like, check out our daughter, this is what she does. Like, she's a world-class eater. And it makes a really great conversation. And I think that I really love that about people's perceptions of what a competitive eater is, and then I walk in type of thing. They're really proud of that. They're like, the fact that you can remain yourself and do something that's so new and so different, so niche, and actually really own it and make it something is like a really great thing. My friends are just like, oh, Leah, doing what she wants to do.
That's amazing.
Just going back to the challenge that your brother couldn't accomplish, what was it?
So there were two. So one was a burger stack challenge at this place called this place called Crust in Shirley. It's now closed down, unfortunately. It was not my fault. Management things. People are like, yeah, you ain't out of business. I promise that it's not the case. I really love that venue and I supported them for as long as they were open. And so did my brother and all of his friends. So we were like locals there. The second challenge which I went to do there was a waffle stack. So it's a stack of waffles. There was like brownie, ice cream, all the things that like are close to my heart inside. And that ended up being one of the greatest challenges that I do not have on camera. And it's
no.
Yeah, both of them. None of the records I set in that venue were on camera.
That's a shame.
That's sad, isn't it? Yeah, really sad. Really, really sad.
So, how many challenges do you think you've actually done since you first started doing this?
Too many?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot. If you imagine, I have like 120 videos on YouTube. So 120 challenges plus 27 Guinness World Records. So yeah, and then obviously challenges that I've done abroad. I competed at the World Burger Eating Contest in North Carolina. I did a challenge in Japan. I did one, in fact, I did several in New York at the World Championships. So yeah, like 200.
Oh,
That's
wow.
nuts. Wow.
Yeah, quite easily, really.
So, with competitive eating, and obviously you're in absolutely phenomenal shape as well, how do you counterbalance that out? Because obviously you're eating a lot of food very quickly, but still look absolutely spot on. How do you manage to keep it off, I suppose?
Oh, well, I appreciate that a lot. So I guess it's like a several-fold thing. I look at my calorie intake for a week. I don't look at it for a day. So I think if I've got, for instance, it varies obviously from person to person, but if I have 14,000 calories in a week and one day I've got a challenge which is 6,000 calories, I know that I then have 8,000 calories to distribute across the other days. But instead of doing really low calorie days, I will intermittent fast, or I will just fast for the day. So I'll fast the day before a challenge, mainly to have an empty stomach, because that helps. Do the challenge so you're fasted otherwise. Then the next day as well, you tend to be fasted for 12 to 24 hours after. And so it all kind of adds up, and you just have to make sure that you balance at the end of the week. Obviously, it helps that I go to the gym and I do cardio, and I just make sure that I'm continuously active and very hydrated. I drink a lot of water. Yeah, it helps a lot with water retention. You want to try and avoid that, because it's very uncomfortable, especially when you eat very high sodium meals, especially a challenge. Your body will just hang on to that content, and you don't need to be doing that at all.
I can imagine. Well, I can't
that
imagine.
Makes sense.
Yes, it did make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, I mean, I've been training. I think a lot of people think I only train because I do food challenges. That's not the case. I've been active. I used to play rugby. I got injured way back in the day.
No.
I was a loose head prop, just before you ask. Most handsome person on the pitch. And I was such a brutal player. Like, I used to launch myself into girls, and I sent girls off. Like, I so much anger just on the inside. But rugby was like a really perfect outlet for me until I broke my ankle. Rehabbed in the gym, and then I've just been at the gym ever since, lifting weights, cardio, doing the whole gym thing since I was about 16, 17 years old. So it's been a long old time. So I can't really say genetics, and I can't really say that I've not been actually putting in the shift to kind of balance out the ugly duckling syndrome with having an all right rig.
Do you miss it? Do you miss smashing into people?
I do, but I'm fragile now.
Yeah.
When talking about the challenges a minute ago, you mentioned Japan.
Yes.
Now, I read somewhere that you had a bit of an issue with it on a Japanese TV show of a challenge.
Yes.
Oh, that's a face of anger. There's a story there. Oh, I've uncovered a demon.
No, I've decided to actively speak about this subject, hence the article that you read it on. I kept it very quiet for about 2.5 years, but about 2.5 years ago, I had this incredible experience, incredible opportunity, terrible experience. Landed on my desk. I thought, this is amazing. I'm going to go. I went to Japan to film for a TV show, as you mentioned. Basically, I was given more food than I was expecting. I was going up against 4 men. 2 were ex-football player and sumo wrestler, and 2 were comedians. And we were sat on this long bench, And I just remember it being underground. It was like an English pub, but in Japan. And they served us this massive platter. It looked like 5 kilos of, there was fish and chips, there was a giant Cornish pasty, there was a giant Scotch egg, but the Scotch egg had 3 eggs inside. The Cornish pasty had like whole sausages. It was like extra, like bigger versions of what we know and sometimes not love. And I remember sitting there looking at it going, yeah, I don't think I can do this, because I've been fasting since I landed in Japan the previous evening. So I was jet lagged and also fasting, and I just felt exhausted. But with these things, especially at that time, I didn't know where my professional boundaries were. So I really struggled to kind of really back myself. And I had a translator, but everybody else was speaking Japanese, literally. And I was the only person like not having a clue what was going on. And I'm very agreeable, so I'm very like, yes, smile and nod, like very British in the way that I am, just my natural self. And they just said, yep, to sit in the middle. They sat either side. This place was underground, as I mentioned. It was very narrow. And each person had a videographer opposite. And we had runners just running backwards and forwards, like refilling your little cup of water. The whole thing was chaos. But because it was so chaotic, I had no time to kind of think or worry about anything apart from eating this food. So they said, like, 3, 2, 1, start eating. They did say to me, eat as much as you need to eat. The whole point is that you're going to beat these men. So we're kind of 15 minutes in. I've done like half of the plate. They've not even like scraped. Like it was very night and day. And I slowed myself down because I thought it can only run for so long, and then they're going to just stop filming because it'll be too long of footage. And I figured it would look good if I just kept eating till the end. So I slowed myself down. They weren't doing any more. These two got up to go to the toilet, which is obviously cheating and not right. These two were just like chatting, like eating. And I thought, okay, so I've got time to stall here. So I was stalling, but they were going, keep going, keep eating. And at this point, I've gotten down to the Cornish pasty. They were telling me we've got 5 minutes left, thinking that I'll just pick it up and eat it. But I had nothing to give them. I had nothing left. And I started to like phase out. And I just remember at this point, I was halfway through the Cornish pasty. I'm sorry to everybody that does like them. I really don't like them. The flavour was getting to me. The whole thing was just not ideal. Would have preferred Japanese food, to be honest. And I woke up. I basically was passed out on the floor. And I woke up, I blacked out because the whole situation. So when I woke up, everything was off. So I don't know how long I was out for. No cameras. Everyone had been like taken out of the building. All the lights were off, and it was literally just me, like on this bench. It was crazy. So I had nobody with me. I had like no support system, no management, nothing. So I didn't know what happened, what to do, and they took me to A&E, and I was like sat in A&E. The doctor was doing all my bloods and everything, and he was like, I don't understand, because everything is healthy, everything is fine. Naturally, like my bloods, my physical health is fine. And he just said, I don't really know why. So he went away, did some tests, he came back and he was like, so this is what I think has happened. You ate so much food in a place with not a lot of oxygen because you're underground, with so many people around you, lights on, heat, all of that stuff. There wasn't enough oxygen. So the oxygen from your brain went to your stomach to digest food, and you passed out. So that was the explanation that I got. Imagine. So I was really embarrassed, and it felt like a wasted trip. I felt embarrassed. They couldn't run the show. They had to just bin the footage. It was a lot of when I said like stop, like I can't do anymore, and they encouraged me to keep eating, that was a problem. Like that's a big legal problem. So they couldn't sort of run any of it. So kind of we all lost in that situation, and it's a shame. It's a real shame. But it's a big learning thing. And it took me about a year to tell people what happened in Japan on Instagram. And then it took a further 2, maybe 1.5 years more than that to talk about it to people like that were going to report on it. So yeah, there we are. There's the story.
Jeez. And is it like they'd set you up to fail almost? Is that what they...
I think that in Japanese culture, it's only shocking when it's extreme. And if you think about Takeshi's Castle, I just think that, like, I don't think they were expecting that kind of reaction, but I think they definitely wanted me to finish all the food.
Yeah.
But I just physically could not. And when they said to me beforehand, you don't have to finish the food, you just have to beat these guys, I just thought, oh, that's fine. I can beat people. But it just seemed pointless to me to finish, or to even try and get to the end there. But yeah, obviously, because I knew my body wasn't feeling right. So yeah, that was Japan, and that was my kind of last Japanese like opportunity since then as well. It's a shame.
That is mental. But oddly, you actually kind of led quite nicely into my next question during that story. You're saying how you're not a fan of Cornish pasties and whatnot. How do you deal with a food challenge if it's got food on it you don't like?
I just get over it and just try and make a good video. I have a lot of respect for venues, and I have a lot of respect for food generally. So I know I understand my position is very privileged in that respect. So I'm never going to sort of turn my nose at stuff.
Yeah.
I'm also quite easily pleased as long as it's cooked well. As like, I would be really disappointed at a well done steak, but I would still eat it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. But apart from that, there isn't much that I can say I refuse to eat that. There's not a lot. It's my job, so I just kind of suck it up and get on with it.
Go back to the steak. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier as well. If it was well done, it has to be rare to medium rare. It can't be well done. But anyway, if it was well done, would it make the challenge harder because it's obviously tougher?
Yeah.
So, could you get to decide how it's cooked, or do they just give it to you as is?
No, you get to decide how it's cooked. But so you'd be amazed how many people choose a well done steak.
Why?
Because they're heathens.
They're heathens and they're amateurs.
Just eat a carpet. Just eat a carpet or a rug if you want well done steak. Like,
yeah.
Let's all grow up a bit now, yeah?
Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely awful, but it's the truth. The truth is that, I mean, it's a lot easier to eat a medium rare steak, especially that kind of size steak. You want to, don't go rare because it's too cold on the inside. You want to go medium rare so you've got some heat running through it. Well done, you've got to have a jaw like mine to be able to get through a well done steak. A lot of people get like jaw fatigue or like a jaw ache, I guess, because I've been chewing gum my entire life and I have like a really short
I love that you realised how ridiculous that sounded halfway through the sentence.
It sounds ridiculous, but I feel like I've been training for this job my entire life. I had like this chewing gum addiction in school, and I would just chew copious amounts of chewing gum. And it's true, I've never had jaw ache, and I put it purely down to that. Just constantly chewing gum throughout the day. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Leah Shutkever, jaw of steel.
Be a great spin-off for him.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah. Agreed.
With these challenges, do you prefer like the speed challenges or the portion size challenges?
Speed. All day, every day. I would tear up. If people liked watching the speed challenges as much as they liked watching like an entire menu challenge or like a massive steak, I would just film speed challenges. I wouldn't have to do as much like in the gym. I wouldn't have to fast as much. I can enjoy my life more. I could just film these like 3-minute videos and just get on with my week like a normal person. But instead, I'm like there with like a big pregnant belly because people want to see those big, like ridiculous challenges. Even though I can eat it, I still have to deal with like the fact that I'm so full for a couple of days at least. Not pretty.
That's crazy. I mean, I wanna bow down to you, Leah. Okay, I want to because cereal. Now we're talking. All right.
Here he goes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just cereal.
I love cereal.
Yeah, same. It is just the most incredible invention ever.
It is.
The Reese's peanut butter ones. Oh, I just want to join in.
Such an incredible challenge. I think I got the peanut butter cups and I kind of put them on top.
You did. Like I was like, what are you doing? You're mental. But I probably did the same thing.
that was during lockdown. That was during the first lockdown. It was one of like the greatest things. It was the highlight of my week, I think.
What I loved is that you were like, you want to know where this bowl get from? You want to get this bowl from? Go to Amazon. That's where you get this bowl from. Right, I'm going to Amazon then.
What I loved is there's a Cocoa Pops on. You're like, bowl? I'll make a fucking bowl and then I'll eat the bowl.
Yes. Yeah. That, you know what? I think that was also during lockdown. I had a lot of time to kill, obviously.
You broke 17 world records or whatever it was.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely working through lockdown. I was making content and things like that. Like I wasn't just chilling in my garden with zero sun to look at.
Oh yeah, depressing lockdown 2. Lockdown 1 was great because I say it was good, not with obviously what was going on, but the fact that it was just like 30 degrees every day. Yeah.
Wow.
Glorious.
But for me, because I have to work, so like eating a ton of food when it's hot outside is really, really challenging. It's actually much better to be cold when you're doing food challenges or just going into them. It's something that I like have to be very mindful of. But yeah, I did look outside of the window and see there was sun.
But he was like, it's 30 degrees outside. You want me to do a spicy food challenge? Get fucked.
I did it.
You did it?
I did it. Yeah, I did the UK's hottest pork pie, which was the worst thing I ever have attempted in my entire life. But yeah, it was horrendous and it was really hot. Not just the pork pie, I mean just the room, everything was boiling.
Oh no, forget that one.
Yeah, no, don't recommend at all.
What would you say are some of the most ridiculous challenges you've done, whether it's just stupid or just like, how the hell am I going to achieve this?
You mean apart from all of them?
Apart from all of them.
They're all pretty stupid. I did this one's interesting because I like to get people's gauge on it. I did a steak challenge. Now the steak itself was like between 80 and 100 grams. But then the steak challenge also came with a bowl of chips, a salad, a baguette, onion rings, and coleslaw. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're watching a steak challenge which says 100-ounce steak challenge, like you're there for the main event, like you're there for the steak, you want to see somebody eat the steak. What's the point of all the carbs? So like I eat the steak and I'm already challenged. Like I feel challenged. I just ate a lot of steak. It was great. I would have left it there. It would have been fantastic. But then I have to eat the bread and the chips and the coleslaw, and I'm like feeling really ill. so I'm trying to understand why people that design these challenges actually even bother with the carbs.
Why a baguette? That's such a weird, like why not like toast or a piece of bread or something? Why a baguette?
Why a baguette? Why make my life more difficult?
Exactly.
No. Yeah. It's like when you have like an English breakfast and they put a load of chips on it. You're like, I'm English. This does not belong on a breakfast.
No.
You're trying to have one on, like they're just trying to pull one over, like pull a fast one. But I think what I'm trying to do in my job now is to kind of change the way the challenges are made. So it's not necessarily let's just make people fail, but instead let's just showcase what we do really, really well and make a complicated challenge that maybe Leah and 3 other competitive eaters in the entirety of the UK can possibly do. That's 4 people. 4 people
That's
maybe
nuts.
can do it.
Nuts.
So yeah, I'm really trying to work against sort of just adding pointless cards. Like,
yeah, because didn't they give you like 10-inch size fucking onion rings as well when you had the steak challenge, the 96-ounce one? The onion rings were huge.
They were delicious though.
Yeah,
I was there. I was there for that challenge. I think in all, everything, like I said, everything lined up. Steak was amazing. The onion rings were crispy and delicious. The salad that they gave you was also very refreshing, very nice. And I think that it was just start to finish, well designed, good timings, decent price point on it. And it just worked, just really worked.
I love how passionate you got about those onion rings.
They were so good though. Not like your standard frozen onion rings. Like they were really, really, I love that from venues, like actually give people good food so they can at least enjoy it, you know, even if they don't manage to complete it.
That's good. Obviously, we mentioned before like how you prepare for these things, like you're saying, the fasting and whatnot. Do you have a routine for after challenges?
Depends what the challenge is, but normally I would have just filmed it. So I travel home and I normally upload the footage to make sure that everything is there. Audio sounds good, visual sounds good. And I upload all the footage. I tend to then take a break and go somewhere to the gym, do whatever I need to do, chores. I busy myself. And then I'll come back and edit. And I just start editing, but I don't like editing straight away because I will never ever like the way that it looks when I am so full of food. I don't want to see it. Like I don't need to relive that experience so soon.
I love that you would go to the gym. I was half expecting it. While I get home, I sit on the sofa, I undo my top button, and I go, oh.
Actually, one of my favorite things used to be of a time, if I'm not like super full and I don't feel like I need to go or like busy myself, I used to love getting home and having a shower and just putting big clothes on, like a big slouchy loungewear, and sitting down and editing. But yeah, I don't really like just like go to sleep. I think a lot of people think that I just come home and sleep.
No, I couldn't sleep on a full belly.
You can't sleep. You can't sleep. It's really, really hard. There've been some nights where I've done dessert challenges or anything high sugar, and your core temperature just goes through the roof. So you are boiling hot in bed. It's impossible to sleep. Yeah, it's not nice.
Delish.
Oh.
So,
I'll keep her.
My girlfriend's a big fan of yours. So when I told her that I was talking to you, she was like, Leah Shutkever, no way. I was like, yeah. So she introduced me to a challenge, one of her favorite, because so she follows James Smith and Darren on Instagram. And she showed me the challenge, the Devastator Burger Challenge.
Yeah.
So she was like, can you please ask her, who was more gutted that you beat them? Was it James or was it Darren?
I don't think that either of them were particularly phased. I think they were just in competition with each other. So I wasn't in any way in the running for whoever was going to win or get any of the praise. Like they were like, so you're winning, right? So you're out of the race. And then like James, I've never experienced somebody so competitive as him. I could feel that like I'm not going to lose it.
Yeah.
But Darren was a little bit more so laid back. He was a little bit more chilled about it. He just thought, I think I encouraged him a bit through when James finished. I wanted Darren to finish as well because I know that it would have been just impossible to ever get over if he never did. So I'm really glad that they both managed to do it. It was a really nice win for everyone, that one.
It looked delicious, that burger as well.
It was really good.
Oh,
it was really, really good. I really wanted to do it again. I was thinking of an excuse to go and film it again, but I don't know whether I'm just being greedy now.
Nah, take Eddie with you.
Our Eds.
Bless him.
Exciting soon, isn't he? That's exciting.
Against the mountain, yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is.
They should let them have at it, but they'll probably put like some rules and regulations in where they can't actually physically hurt each other properly or something like that. I don't know.
Well, it'd be like a cuddle match.
No, but you know what I mean? Like didn't they have Tyson fight recently? And it was like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't, like, it was meant to be a boxing fight, and they basically weren't boxing.
Oh, I don't know. All I know is that anybody who's into boxing is appalled by the whole thing and don't believe that it's fair to have amateurs box and that it's embarrassing for the sport. But I really don't know enough to talk on it. So
neither do I.
Yeah, no, man.
I have absolutely no idea either.
I just saw two big lads fight, and I was like, that could be fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Just for like, it is just for the entertainment, isn't it? That's how I take it. I'm like, it's social media. We all do things that is just purely for entertainment and nothing else.
Yeah, I think people just like a good whinge, don't they? People like to, have their 2 pence in and be like, yeah, I told them from all the way over in Weymouth, wherever I live. I told, yeah. that showed them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No. While I was doing my research on you and I was watching some videos, I saw a clip and you said something about one of your techniques, and as soon as you said what the technique was, I turned it off. I was like, I don't want to hear the explanation. I want to ask Leah herself the explanation for this. Okay. The bite and swallow technique.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because the look on your face as you said the bite and swallow, I was like, I gotta know what this is.
So it pretty much is. I don't know how I've coined this thing, but I somehow have. I'm able to sort of take a bite, then push it to the back of my mouth, take another bite, and whilst I'm taking that other bite, I'm swallowing the first bite. So it's kind of like a conveyor. Yeah, I'm really good with burritos, and I feel like burritos are already chewed, so who needs to chew them? And so I just bite, swallow, until it's gone. And yeah, that's
that really tickled me.
It's quite fascinating watching you though, because it's like you've got this giant ass burger thing, and half it's gone within 15 seconds because you just keep going bomb, 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 and then everyone's like, "What the? Oh my days!" Like, there's no way I'm keeping up with her.
I'm a really fast eater.
It's the eggs. I just still can't wrap my head around the eggs. How the hell do you eat an egg whole?
So I was on a TV. I was on a shoot for a TV show, in Grand Central, Birmingham. In Tortilla, big up, shout out, big bad brum. And I was attempting the Guinness World Record. You two need to keep it together.
Sorry.
I was attempting the Guinness World Record title for the fastest time to eat 3 eggs. The previous record was 22 seconds, set by this man. Now, he was quite famous. He was on a lot of documentaries and things because he could swallow things whole. And he's an elderly gentleman, and he held the record, and I'd watched his video and I thought, I think I could do that. And my method was, I'm going to bite it in half and then just swallow the 2 halves. And that was kind of in my mind what I was going to do. So I did the first attempt, but with the first attempt I dropped the egg and it kind of bounced on the chair and then bounced up and I caught it and then I ate it and I managed to do it.
That's amazing.
I managed to do it in 12 seconds. So I'd halved the previous time and I managed, my technique worked and everything. But the production were like, can we go again? Because we don't know what the regulations would be if you drop the egg. Like, would that kind of disqualify you? Yeah. Just to make sure, let's just go again. So I thought, okay, let's go again. Let's see. I mean, we know we can break it. Let's just do it a bit neater this time. And the first one just went straight down in one. I went to bite it, it ricocheted, and it just went straight down my throat. And I thought, oh damn, this is legit. So I just thought, without even hesitating, I just went 1, 2, 3, 7.8 seconds, and then I knew I could do it. Oh my God. It's mad that this is not more common knowledge, but yeah, it's something that I discovered whilst I was just trying to break a world record in front of an audience, and it happened so quickly that I just roll with it.
Just Wow. I don't know what to say.
Is that one of those things where you have a moment like an hour or two later, you look back and you go, what is that 3 eggs whole in 7 seconds? What the fuck is my life?
When I put it all together, I ate like 6 eggs whole in less than 20 seconds.
I'm kind of gutted though. They didn't let you keep the ricochet bounce one to catch and eat again. Must have been that'll never happen again.
No, definitely not. But I think that I actually had the footage and I did post that first attempt beforehand, so you can see it happening. But it's not a great video, but you can see it happening. So
yeah, still though, skills.
It happens. Listen, I'm a sports person. It's what I do first and foremostly.
I meant to drop that, by the way. I didn't drop that. That meant to happen.
It's like when you see drummers like throw a stick in here and catch it and carry on going. That's usually eggs. Boing, hop, done.
It was just completely unintentional coolness, like in my life, basically.
Is there absolutely anybody that you've not gone against yet that you'd love to?
I think there's a few people that I would love to collaborate with.
That's what I mean.
Against.
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
That's very wrong words I used there.
No, it's fine, because there are obviously like a lot of people comparing competitive eaters. I have always said that we all offer something totally different, but we all, in our own right, have our place in the world of competitive eating, and there really isn't many of us. So I think that we're quite well-rounded in all. But I would like to do collaborations with Randy Santel. He's pretty fantastic. He has a great aura about him, and I like how real he seems.
Yeah.
But him and his girlfriend Katina eat kilos. I think that would be a really cool collab. Who else? I mean, if I could get Furious Pete back out, that would be cool. If maybe Matt Stoney would consider it, I would like to see how I fared on a Matt Stoney video, but he doesn't really collab with anybody.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, I know, it's a massive shame, but it's the one thing that everybody kind of knows already. He's the most famous competitive eater apart from Kobayashi, and he just doesn't collab. He doesn't need to. So yeah, we're out here just trying to get notoriety.
That's fair.
So we mentioned at the start of this interview that you've smashed a ton of Guinness World Records. How many is it that you've got now?
27 as of last week.
As of last week, so you did another one last week.
Yeah, I did 2 last week. But I cannot disclose. It will all become very clear next month in March what I've been up to.
Can you actually remember them all? Since it's almost 30 of them.
Yeah, the majority of them I can. But some of them just seem like they've just faded into nothingness. And when people remind me of it, I just find it very funny, because I then remember sitting there with the thing and the strategy and the cameras, and off the top of my head, I remember the cool ones. I remember the ones that I remember the ones that made me feel something. I was wow, I didn't think.
I was watching one earlier and I was just like, the eating side of this is amazing, but that's not what impressed me the most. The fact that you managed to peel a banana with no hands and eat it like it was inside a trough was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I have no shame. I have no... It's so bad. Somebody was like, what? So how did you... Like a dog? I was like, yeah, like a dog. I basically just... The poor banana, it just got absolutely torn to shreds. I thought that I'd failed. I really thought that I just thrown my whole attempt, because my first attempt to peel the skin on it, I'd bitten a hole out of it. I've got a really strong jaw, so instead of delicately just peeling it, I just chomped through. I just had this circle of banana skin and spat it out. Spat it out. Oh yeah, I've had better moments. Just
It was amazing though. And the other one that caught my eye is I saw that you had a bit of a hard time with jam donuts, but not for the reason that people would think that you had a hard time with jam donuts.
Yeah.
What was it?
Well, that was quite a successful video. That was, I mean, the record for the most jam donuts eaten in 3 minutes. I had to eat 10 donuts, but the first 3, because you're not allowed, they're rolled in sugar and they're filled with jam, so they're not like ring donuts or anything. The first 3, I kept licking my lips, and you're not allowed to lick your lips, so I kept having to stop and then reset. So I'd eaten 10 donuts, but then I'd also eaten 3 extra donuts because I kept messing up. But this is the thing with Guinness World Records, is you've got so many things to think about. Not just, I try and zone out and can't when it comes to those. There's so much to process.
That's great. That's pretty standard, isn't it? It's a bite and sugar, lovely.
I honestly didn't think that I would fall into that. I never thought that I was that person. I was never that well versed in jam donuts, and I just didn't know how I ate them or what that sensation was. And I until I started, I had no idea how difficult it was going to be. And yeah, the amount of people are like, I saw you lick your lips. No, I didn't, because the world record was approved, which means that the people who watch the slow-mo footage, like 1 second at a time, imagine, they approved it, which means that I did not, and we're okay. So yeah.
Just imagine it's like going, oh, we have liftoff. Time is, no, it's gone back in. No, oh, yeah. Oh my God. We've been here for days.
Imagine.
I just don't get why can't you lick your lips? Why do you get disqualified for licking your lips?
Because it'd be too easy otherwise.
Why would it affect it?
Because they like to add extra parameters. Things like, you're not allowed to lift the plate off the table. You can only go to the plate, or you can only eat and drink one hand at a time, or you can only eat with a teaspoon, or the straw must be certain diameter, like the whole of a straw. So I drank a litre of gravy, but it had to be through a teeny tiny little straw. So it's not even for any other reason than to make it so much harder, so that it limits once again the amount of people that can actually attempt it and actually do it.
That's crazy.
I just love how nonchalant you spent. So I drank a litre of gravy.
The guy who I took that record off, he broke the record again. So I need to go back and break his record again.
Mother Hubbard.
Take it back.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one that made me laugh, though, you're on about these parameters. There's a video there's so many sausages in a minute, I think it was. And you're there with like a ruler measuring these sausages over this many centimeters long, this many wide. I was like, this is nuts.
Yeah. Everything is regulated. Absolutely everything. Everything is checked. So anybody that thinks it's easy, it's not easy. The whole process is time consuming. It's specific. It has lots of it ebbs and flows. Some things you become really good at and you understand the process of, and other things you don't really. I prefer to do the records where I've got like a film crew on a TV show, or I'm doing it with other people, because when I'm doing like the ones at home, you need to tie up every loose end, and it's super difficult. But it's better to have knowledgeable people do that stuff for you than have to do it all.
Mind you, the 100 Jaffa cakes. Oh, glorious. Absolutely love a Jaffa.
I'd do it again. Do it again in a heartbeat. Love the Jaffa.
Oh, they're just gloriousness in a cake.
Yeah.
The thing is though, I can only dip them. I dip them in tea. I don't know why, but I like a dip in it straight in. Oh, magnificent.
She looks offended, Tom. She looks offended. Back up.
No,
back up.
You know, my mind instantly went to like the bottom half of them will just drop off, and the top half will stay intact. Are we talking a lukewarm tea?
We're talking boiling hot. literally straight in, straight out in. Oh. They do do
Sounds
that. And
dangerous.
you're like, shit, like this.
That's it.
Have to be quick.
That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, it literally was like that. You go, oh my God, straight in. But, you know, I don't mind a floor jaffer, I'll be honest.
Floor jaffer. Floor soggy jaffer, though. Not
Yummy.
Have you tried the donut jaffers?
Disappointed.
I liked it.
I haven't tried them yet. I don't know if I can bring myself to.
Were they called like Joe Nuts?
Something like that, anyway.
That's stupid.
Who's Joe? What? No, I don't remember. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it is Joe Nuts. Do you know what, Leah? Tomorrow I'm gonna get some and see what they're like, because they do like cherry flavour now. I'm like, why just messing with it? Can you just leave it alone?
Yeah.
No.
The flavours on an original Jaffa is enough.
Exactly.
But I think that I was impressed by the donuts because they come individually wrapped and they are not dry. And I was just I was so impressed. I just thought they've really nailed the texture on these, and they were nice. They were pleasing. That's
tomorrow's little snack sorted. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No worries. That's what I'm here for. Hunger traps.
Obviously, when you've talked about doing collaborations with people and stuff like that, everyone you've mentioned has been male. Are there many female competitive eaters?
There's a few, actually. I've done... so there's Nella Zizza, who is in New Zealand. You've got Raina Huang, who is in the States. Molly Schuyler, also in the States. Katina Eats Kilos, also in the States. And I think that's it.
Wow.
Oh, you've got Mickey Sudo, who competes at Nathan's hot dog eating contest, but she doesn't have like a YouTube channel or anything. And you've also got testing me now, Michelle Lesko. She has world records. She did the world record with the most mayonnaise eaten. She did the 5 jars of mayonnaise. It went crazy online. And everybody was tagging me in it. And I'm like, there is just nothing. There's no fibre of my being that wants to eat this much mayonnaise. I don't want that. I don't want that. So yeah, Michelle Lesko is like, she's a boss. Like she did really well. So that's how many, I think, female competitive eaters there are that actually compete, have world records, etc. We are very few and far between.
That's crazy. It's cool though. I mean, yeah, representing the UK.
Yeah, representing Europe, whole of Europe.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I go Europe's #1 female because we're just an island, aren't we? And they're like, who is this chick?
I apologise for mine and Tom's species of men if this is the case, but do you ever get like treated or compared differently in this environment because of you being female?
I think if anything, men like rate women so highly for even pushing out this far and like doing something that's so not a woman's thing to do. And it is very male dominated, and your audience is primarily male, but women are coming through now and really enjoying these videos. So I think that it's kind of open this really beautiful time in the world, time in life where men and women equally can enjoy it, men and women equally can take part in it, men and women equally can do this. So yeah, I don't think that I've ever been treated badly in challenges.
That's good.
I mean, I know how it feels like to be judged, definitely, and I know how it feels that men underestimate me a lot, and especially in competitive eating. But now I've kind of made a name for myself. People just don't question it. They just go, this is the chick, this is what she does, this is how it is. It's cool, and this is it. So I'm really grateful actually, because without men going, this is cool, I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing.
That's a big glimmer of hope for humanity there. I liked that. I was dreading
know,
what answer that was going to be.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that as long as, so I said to you previously, like earlier in our conversation, about the world records really putting me in a different realm and putting me on the map. It was men primarily that were saying, this isn't real, she isn't real, because she can eat more than me, it can't be real. So now that I've kind of done the TV stuff and I've done a lot of like public things, men are now going, no, it is real, and they will fight your corner and they'll be your biggest fans. And it's actually really nice, whereas I never really knew where I stood with women, but I think I needed the men to go, this is cool, for the women to go, actually, can I sit in and watch this too? So yeah, it's really, really nice, and I think that it's sending out a really great message all around.
I think you're absolutely badass, Leah, to be fair. Absolutely badass. And again, I tip my hat. Absolutely incredible at what you do. Are there any challenges that you really want to do that you've yet to take on?
I'm going to say yes, because I mean, I watch Man vs. Food, and there's so many challenges in the States that I want to do. There's so many challenges in the UK that I just haven't gotten around to doing. Obviously, there's only so many weeks in a year and so many challenges I can do. So I mean, it's great to be in the Midlands because you're kind of central to quite a lot of things. But I do need to do a bit more traveling this year and actually get out there and do some restaurant challenges and just showcase the smaller restaurants. I don't really want to do any more fast food stuff. I want to just solely focus on the restaurant work now moving forward.
Sounds good.
I like that because, you know, it gives you publicity, and it also gives these companies and these local restaurants and businesses publicity as well. So, mate, that's really good. I like that.
Yeah, it gives me some kind of parameter as well. So normally a person would have set a record and I've got something to beat them, rather than going to a restaurant and just eating the amount of food in an amount of time. It's not as impressive. And also I'm very competitive, so I want to have a benchmark to sort of reach. Yeah. And it helps give me some motivation and want to make a good video, etc.
I love that. So before we start wrapping up, we briefly touched upon it earlier, the male versus whale challenges. You versus Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Well, do you want the real story?
Well, yeah, preferably.
I don't think I've ever told this story before, so here you go, here's an exclusive. I was sat at dinner with a really good friend of mine he's an athlete manager. We've been friends for very many years, and we're just out having a catch up with a mutual friend of ours. And I was talking about doing collaborations and things. And I've noticed that Eddie had started doing more food related stuff. And somebody had mentioned, why don't you do a collab with Eddie Hall? In fact, it could literally have been my friend who said this to me. And I said, but how, like, he's a celebrity. How do I, little me, go and reach out to someone like that who would never see a DM, who would never see an email? Like, how do I do that? So he was like, well, I've got a mate that's got his number. I bet I could get it for you. And we're just sat at dinner, and he messaged a friend who did a shoot with Eddie and said, can you pass me Eddie's number? And he just gave me Eddie's number and said, can you WhatsApp him? Just write a message, tell him exactly who you are, what you do, what you propose, send the links to, basically set out like an email. I was like, I can't WhatsApp this guy. Joking. Like, I feel like that is a massive kind of broach of someone's personal like space. And he was like, no, he's so nonchalant about everything. He said, no, it's fine. Everybody does it now. Just message him. What's the worst that can happen? He reads it and does the message back. But it's fine. It's a business proposal. So I was like, okay. It took me, and Eddie doesn't even know this, it took me so long to press send. And then I swear to God, when the message was read, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God. I Somebody all has just read my message. I just thought that sometimes we build people up way out of our reach or our realm or whatever. And these interactions are so important because it kind of bridges the gap, because there isn't a gap. We created that gap. And so that is basically how it happened. Eddie then messaged me back. He said, hey, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Literally just said that. And then the next day he called me and we talked, and he said, he gave me like a load of like advice about videography, etc. And said, hey, let's shoot a video. So we ended up meeting up with his videographer, Hannah. I think I turned up by myself. I kind of set up this shoot. We did a session at the gym, and then we went and did this challenge. And that was so in demand that we ended up doing like four other challenges together. And yeah, like I owe so much of like what I've achieved to that whole interaction. Like my friend being a legend and just knowing everybody and being able to find and do, and he's so resourceful, and also completely ruthless. And at that time, I just didn't have that about me. Now, probably a bit more. But back then, I was like, I'm like, I don't have anything to give like back to anybody. It just has to be them taking a blind faith at me being the real deal, and then hopefully them being okay with the fact that I literally have nothing to give them apart from maybe a cool video.
It's amazing to watch. One of my favorite pictures that I found during this, I think it was the wings photo, and it's you sat there with an empty plate and Eddie sat there like 6 times the size of you with loads of stuff on his plate, just looking like he's been defeated. It is such a fantastic image.
Yeah, there've been some really great times, and I look back and I just think I'm so grateful to the people that I have collaborated with. I've got absolutely nothing but like great memories, and it's just been so fun. It's been so fun to be able to work with other people doing this really new, weird, niche thing. And they've been kind of so up for trying. And yeah, I really rate that kind of personality that's just going to give something a go like this, especially against someone like me who, like, I take no prisoners.
Clearly, I think when you ate the fish and chips, and after you obviously cleaned out your plate, he's like, I think that's what, 12-0 now?
Did I say that?
No, he did. Eddie said that.
Oh, yeah, oh God. I was going to say, that's
no, he did.
Rash for me.
No, it was just, he pushed his plate away, went, I think I'm done. There's no point.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he gave you a name, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah, he called me the cement mixer.
That was it, yeah.
You did not look like you approved of that name.
That stuff for sure. That's how people refer to me in the streets now.
Oh no.
No, it's not. I've heard it. I've seen it a couple of times. But you know, the people that call me that are Eddie fans. So then I know the people that call me Shuts versus the people that call me the cement mixer. They're like Eddie's fans versus the people that follow me. So it's nice to kind of know where they're from, or know kind of where they came about, so that, I mean, you can kind of interact with them on a different level when you know exactly like where they found you and how they found you, and how many videos they've watched, or if they're new or not, etc. So yeah, it's cool. I appreciate it.
It's awesome. I mean, it's incredible to collaborate with people like that. But I mean, did you ever think that like your YouTube and your Instagram and like your social media, when you started doing this, would blow up as much as it has?
Honestly, like yes and no. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. Like in all, I didn't really know how far I could take it. But I have seen people with YouTube channels and niches that have just absolutely exploded. And I feel like my growth is very slow. And I don't know whether it's because I'm still not very, like, I don't feel like my content is very promoted by social media platforms. I still feel like everything that I do and my growth rate always comes from collaborations, or like probably just collaborations really. any kind of thing with exposure, because I don't think the social media pushes out my content just because it's so dangerous, I guess, just not ideal.
Yeah.
So it's not very child friendly, even though that it is, and children love it. It's not very, like, I don't know, but I've seen other people do it, and other people kind of make really great kind of channels, and I aspire to be there, but I just feel like my growth rate has just been super slow in comparison.
I think it's going to put all the algorithms in now and all that sort of malarkey as well. So it's hard, I think, for anyone to do anything on social media anymore, because you have to have certain words in there and certain hashtags in there. You've got to say certain things and look a certain way. And it's just, crazy.
Yeah. I really thought that I'd have an easier time, just because I don't do anything like no pranking, no swearing, no drugs, no drinking, no, like, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that, I don't know, I just don't know, because I've seen food channels do incredibly well. I just don't know that I have the formula right for social media.
Take it to TV. Take it to TV, Leah.
Well,
That was such a quick turnaround.
Yeah, TV. So I love the idea of being able to have like a show, TV. I think that'd be really cool. Like a woman versus food style show. But TV doesn't translate to social media. I don't think that if I had a TV show that my social media would do better. So that TV show would have to pay well enough to kind of warrant me being off social media for as long as that thing's running, because you can't do both, because I'll be eating for both, and it can't happen. So I would need to sacrifice too much what I've been building to do this thing that I don't know is going to translate back over.
I see what you
tough,
mean.
isn't it? It's like it's a really tough decision to make. So.
You couldn't even have like, well, I suppose you could have a clip, but it's not the same as what you've been doing, because obviously it'd be only like a smidge of what you've done on the show. And yeah, I see what you mean. Massive catch-22.
It is a massive catch-22. And also you would need to find a network to kind of take it on. You'd need to film your own pilot and things like that. There's a lot more that goes into it, and I really am a one-woman band. I don't have management, I don't have a team, I don't have people. Like, it is just me with my camera bag and my lights, going everywhere on my own, and I can only ever do as much as one person can do. So at the moment, I guess the rate of growth probably reflects the fact that I am doing everything myself.
You are smashing out the park though, so just keep going.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
To be fair, the amount of coverage you've been getting by Lad Bible in the past few months that alone is great publicity.
Yeah, Lad Bible. It's always great to be mentioned by Lad Bible, but it is just like I don't really want to have to depend on like big networks like that to sort of share me. I would like for people to, I don't know, they'll watch Lad Bible's video, but they won't watch my videos. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I would like people like those dedicated people that just love YouTube to watch my channel. That'd be cool.
Well, people who are listening to this, go and subscribe to Leah's channel right now. Right now.
We'll wait.
You're listening.
But speaking of your YouTube channel, you said you've got like 120 odd challenges on there. For people who are listening to this who haven't checked out your YouTube channel yet, just discovering it, are there any particular challenges that you're like extra proud of that people should go and search and have a look at?
As soon as you land on my channel, you'll get the Eddie Hall fish and chip, the male versus whale challenge. Watch that video. Underneath that, as like the second most popular video, is the 96-ounce steak. So watch that. And then go straight from those and search newest videos, because my newest videos are my best videos. They are the best quality, best audio, best visual, cleaner, nice, good performance. Like, they're good. And then if you want to see some fails, there's more fails in the last 6 months than there are in my channel.
Really?
Yeah. I've only failed three times. 2 fish and chip videos. I failed recently. Sorry for the spoilers. and a Indian curry challenge. I failed.
Was it because it was too spot? Why did you feel that? How did you, if you don't mind me ask? I have not seen that one yet.
It's another story though, if you want to.
That's what we're
always
here for.
one story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was working for On the Tools, who are owned by Electric House. They are another social media platform. We do this pro eater versus builder series. So they recruit a builder to go up against me, and we do a food challenge together. We drove to Leicester and we were doing a 5 curry, 5 naan, 1 kilo mixed grill. And similarly to the setup in Japan, hot room, lots of people, lights, lots of hot food. And it was like later on in the day. And I realized this really is like the recipe for disaster for me. And the builder just up and out, like 1 curry in, and he was gone. So I was on my own holding the fort for the rest of the time. The record on it was 29 minutes. I think I got to 15 minutes and I felt confident. Got to 20 minutes, still felt confident. And I don't know what happened between 20 and 29:30. And then as soon as I got to 30 minutes, I threw in the towel because I had like half a naan. I mean, you'll see it on the video, like half a naan, a few pieces of chicken. But he was already like, he was done. We had a crowd of people watching. I felt like I was eating for too long and I just didn't feel right. So I just thought, if I'm not going to beat the record, I don't want to struggle through this for the next 15, 20 minutes. And so I need to go back and do that. I need to go back and do that challenge, but I still haven't because I'm traumatized, but I will eventually.
And you'll smash it the next time you go back.
Hopefully with better conditions. I'll just go in like knowing what works for me, and it will be a good experiment. If anything, it will be a great experiment to see whether under different conditions will I perform better. I've also have a lot more experience now, so
yeah. Can you not tell them to be like, guys, can you take that out? Can you move back a little bit? Do you not get to do that at all, or is it that they just dictate what happens?
I think that when you've got like a camera crew, the important things are the proximity between the camera and the food.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it's all about framing. So I don't really like to disturb what's going on there. What I did think about as well was when the video was posted, somebody had told me that the previous record holder had a smaller mixed grill to us. And also, they got to choose their curries. So they chose like fish-based lighter curries, and the curries they gave us were like the lamb, the chicken, the kormas, the heavy, creamy stuff. So I think if I chose my curries to be lighter and then sat earlier on in the day, and obviously only my camera, no camera crew, no people around, and a nice airflow, I think I'll smash it like 15, 20
100%.
minutes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
like a plan.
that's my thinking.
I think you got that nailed down, Leah. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I was about to start wrapping up then, and me being me, thought of another question. So,
Okay.
well, obviously, earlier on, we were talking about preparing before a challenge. Do you have like set techniques in your head for certain foods? Like if it's a steak, I'll eat it this way. If it's this, I'll eat it this. Or do you just go, let's go?
Yeah, pretty much. Let's go. I go for whatever I fancy eating first. I get strategic kind of midway through. So what I tend to do is, so if we're just talking like a quantity challenge, not speed. If it's a sandwich, I eat it like a sandwich. If it's a burger, I eat like a burger. I don't decompose things. I don't kind of take things apart, deconstruct, shall I say, things apart. If it's a steak challenge, I tend to dig into the steak while it's still a bit warm, because once it's cold, it's not as pleasant. So things like that, chicken wings, eat them while they're warm, because when they're cold, they're very much more difficult to eat fast. Things like bread and carbs, I tie them into the eating of everything else, because I can't bear to have loads of carbs left at the end of a challenge. I find it so much more difficult and no motivation. But yeah, generally speaking, I just go in and I just try and enjoy as much as I can of it, and then the rest are just strategy. I break things up. I make sandwiches. I kind of psychologically try and trick myself to look like there's less than there is, and then just work my way around. And it tends to work most of the time.
I love it. Tom, have you got any more questions?
I suppose what I ask pretty much everybody we speak to is just that, did you ever think that this is where you would end up, like where life would be today at 31, that you'd be doing this? Did you ever think this would be the case?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I look back, I really thought that I would be maybe an architect or a designer, maybe setting up my own practice, working freelance, something like that. Yeah. Maybe family and kids. I did not expect my life to be where it is now. But, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I would never, ever. No way.
Good.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Leah, before we let you get out of here, would you like to play our little game that we like to play?
It depends.
It's called the quick fire round. We literally ask you 5 questions and you answer them as quickly as you can. Nice and simple.
Oh.
And it's all about you. So
it's all about you, so you should know the answers.
Okay, I'm ready.
Question number 1. Your favourite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
Good, strong answer. Your go-to karaoke song?
I would never want to impose my voice on anybody. I'd be like something Whitney Houston. Just go for it.
Amazing.
I like that. What was your first ever job?
I worked for my family's business since I was like a kid.
Amazing.
I did car boots and markets since I was really young. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
If there was to be a movie all about you and your life, who would play you?
Oh God. Someone Latin American, probably. I don't know. Someone fiery. But who I'd love to do it is Jennifer Lawrence, because I just find her fantastic in every single possible way. Jennifer Lawrence, but we'd look nothing alike. Probably like a J-Lo or something. Good show.
And last but not least, if you were to be able to get into a time machine, go back in time and give one piece of advice to young little Miss Shutkever, what would that be?
How young am I?
What should we say? Early teens?
Probably just do everything as you're doing it right now.
Love that.
Exactly where you are now. Yeah.
I love that answer. That is a great answer. Leah, this has been absolutely amazing. We've had so much fun. I feel like we could carry on talking for hours. But before we let you go, do you have any plugs, social medias, things you want people to go check out?
So my name is Leah Shutkever, Shutkever. I'm the only one in the world. You can search me on Google and all of my social media links come up. And yeah, look forward to seeing more of you on my channel.
I love that. The only one in the world.
Yeah. It's such a branding, like such a move by my parents. They didn't even know. Even know.
Honestly, it's been so much fun. Thank you so much for doing this. It means the world.
Yeah, we really
do. To me.
Oh, Leah, you're too kind. You're way too kind. We really do appreciate you taking your time out to sit and speak to us, and we really hope that you go and smash more challenges. I'm really excited to see them on your channel. I'm looking forward to seeing those bad boys. More records broken, more foods devoured.
Thank you guys so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you're both great. So
thank you so much, Leah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. Have a wonderful evening, and
you too.
We'll let you know when this is out.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Hey, Jamie, do you like being cozy?
I do.
And do you like staying cozy?
I like that even more.
Then just heading over to www.staycozyclothing.com,
where you can find hoodies, tees, sweaters, and much, much more.
And just enter The Chronicles as one word at checkout to receive 10% off your order.
And make sure you follow them on the Instagram at Stay Cozy Clothing to keep up to date with all the new designs.
Remember, guys, that's The Chronicles as one word at checkout to receive 10% off your order. And now back to this week's episode.
God, I fucking love that conversation so much. Just amazing. And the fact she's the only Leah Shutkever in the world is awesome as well.
Yeah, and Europe's number one. Europe's number one.
Number one. Just incredible.
Leah, thank you so much for taking the time to sit and chat to us. We really appreciate taking the time out. And we really hope that you guys enjoy listening to it as much as we did recording it.
Hey there. I'm Frank Guglielmelli, and I'm the narrator for the audio drama Feed, featuring such audio dramas as Bounty Hunters, Marty and Mars, Val Toby, and so much more. You can find all of these wonderful programs on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Or you can go to our website at www.audiodramafeed.com. We are thrilled to be affiliated with the Chronicles of Podcast with Tom and Jamie.